Greetings, good day. I just wanted to add a few comments to yesterday. I didn't want it to sound too intense, and yet maybe we do need intensity, but there also needs to be perspective, and I found that was lacking. First of all, my heart goes out to everyone who has had to experience some crime and loss, and especially the family that is dealing with the loss they're dealing with right now in Spokane. So just a moment of silence really for them. In the 1980s, I lived in New York, and government there was rather small. It's funny, I don't think I really appreciated Ronald Reagan at the time, but I do remember he said that the best social program there is a job. I love their garden here, and it's always different every year. It's really wonderful. It spills out. It's wonderful. And, you know, the government was rather humble. I saw it best described in the book. I haven't seen the movie. In the book by Tom Wolfe, The Bonfire of the Vanities. And I don't know if this character was in the film or who it would have been. It was not the Master of the Universe, Tom Hanks. It was the sort of almost schlepping, humble, crumpled, rumpled, in the rain, too many notebooks, too many papers, social worker sort of person, state worker, government worker, in an almost, I don't mean to be so austere as to say a priestly position, but that really seemed what the government worker was considered at some point. You know, you were going to make, 30 grand a year, but you would have steady work, and you would give up certain benefits of being in the dog-eat-dog world of capitalism, Wall Street, downtown, but also if things went bust, you would still have your job. And that was really considered the trade-off in New York. And, you know, he may have been like a DA, you know, one of those little beleaguered people on that level in the book. He may have been a lawyer of some sort for the city. So where am I going with all of this? Well, you know, as I'm saying, it's funny that I lived in, you know, great big New York, and I know that was not the capital. However, large cities that aren't the capital also do hold governmental offices. They love busting up the government here in Washington. They have many offices in Bellevue. They have many offices in Seattle. So you really cannot get anything done if you're actually focused on a mission, like live bacterial pesticide drops in Seattle, for instance, or any kind of project you may have or question. You're going to be thrown all over the map. So then you start to You know, it's funny because I'm thinking of Tom Wolfe again, and I don't even feel that this was even something he said in Bonfire of the Vanities, but that when you, and it's not Tom Wolfe, really, it's anybody, when you look at a culture, you can see what is important to the culture when you see the buildings of that culture, what the culture represents. And of course, we have the great cathedrals in Europe, we have the pyramids, both of which are more of a spiritual nature. And here in Olympia, and maybe other places as well, we have our Kim Jong-un buildings. We have our buildings built to the government. And instead of, you know, the person who works for the government being someone who is somewhat self-sacrificing and, you know, slightly hunched over and, you know, willing to, you know, work for the good of the state, and willing to take a, you know, a nice retirement for it. And then versus this, which is this kind of, you know, it's rather paradisical here on the weekends, by the way, when, or really after 5 p.m., 4 usually. Everyone always leaves early, of course. They can all sneak out, and it's like really fun. They're all sort of like teenagers with cigarettes. You know, probably no one's even here right now because it's like really nice out, and you know, it's fall, and everyone has to catch that last day of sunshine, which we'll probably have through October. I've gone swimming in October here in the past, and down at the beach, and it's been fantabulous. So we can be wildly wet sometimes, but we can also be hot and dry up here. So yeah, it looks like I don't see anybody around. I bet everybody is gone. We've got one person here. So all the money is basically being taken from the citizens and being put into the architecture here. Right up the road here, I guess I'll keep walking here. Right up the road is that other building. The newest one is down into the left, but it's so dreadfully busy down there that I tend to avoid it. And I had wanted to make a video while it was being built. It now just got finished. See, they've got a lot of this anti-Trump stuff around. Okay, the Adams building, and then, you know, it's just you know, this is kind of just a very bland building. Once again, here's the Department of Health. There's somebody on the lawn reading. See, it's rather glorious, really, after hours here. You really have the place to yourself. Over on the other side is a grass plaza that's rather new. It had caved in. They just knocked something down here. See, they're always sort of, and it was a new building, actually. It was something pretty much like that building and that one. Okay, I hadn't even known about that. This is very recent. I thought that was like the Association of Realtors or something like that. So the money is being taken out of the hands of the private sector and into the hands of the Kim Jong-uns of the world. We have a whole bunch of them, and it's interesting. I've been taking photos. I haven't uploaded very much, and I do use restraint too. I mean, there are so many things. Oh wait, no, we're gonna catch something special up here. One thing that's very funny that's up here quite often are that all the employees at the Department of Health are really serious smokers, and I see them just hanging on the balconies, you know, a lot, especially in the front. They all seem to have little these little smoking areas, and they'll just hang out for a really, really long time and just smoke cigarette after cigarette and chat, and it's always like, some important thing, going on at the office, some kind of drama, and you're just going, wow, there go my tax dollars, on this, like, little break. And I don't know, I miss the village concept where, I don't know, I would like to own like a little restaurant or something. It would be fun. And I feel like people aren't able to live the American dream anymore because everything's getting sucked out of us. There's definitely an agenda going on when you see this kind of overblown nonsense. And then, when I moved here, I didn't really realize just quite how bad it was. And then I just started to realize and see more and more as I would walk around, wow, there is nothing going on here. This is a really intense facade, and it's all just these little lunches. There's an underground here at the Department of Health that I hadn't realized, except the day that I went, when I was like escorted out or whatever. I walked by accident into a basement room on the inside that opened up to a theater, and it was about 3/4 full of men in Armani suits, and they were drinking champagne, and it was the morning, and they had driven. See, the roundabout here is oh no, I just lost some of my controls here on the camera. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we have, there. We have right here, we have right here this roundabout. And the roundabout spits right off from Seattle and Portland. So they can spit right off, and then it goes right here to a tunnel, right up here. And the tunnel fans out into a parking garage. So you can either go through the tunnel. Sorry, I'm doing a terrible job here. You can either go through the tunnel, or you can fan out and go into the parking garage. So anyway, I'll show you on another day. So this is something where they can just fan out, zip down from Seattle, these kind of super packed people. They can also be coming off the plane from, DC, New York, all sorts of places. And they can in an interesting way, not ever have to be seen. They can just go in, have these parties. It was definitely some sort of pack parties, or what is it that is so profitable these days? Non-profs, and it's that term that sounds so very innocent. Non-prof. Yes, it's sort of a hypnotic word, but it's something that that gouges the taxpayer. We have a little symphony today. And I thank you very much for your time and for your patience. And I wish you all the very best day and night. Take very good care. There we are. Bye-bye.